Welcome everyone to the Globe Miami Town Hall on post-fire flooding. Thank you for being here in the auditorium. Welcome to those people on YouTube and watching along on Facebook. The goal of this event is to bring together those people who have information to share that residents and members of Southern Gila County need to know, and then to take questions and then use this event, supply resources, and you can share this with friends after the fact and help get the information that we have to the people who need that information. I know not everybody who is available to watch this tonight, so hopefully everybody can share this video on YouTube, find it on Facebook, and we can get that information. Also, there's handouts that we have going to be on all of the websites, county, Town of Miami, City of Globe, and there'll be more information. Technology-wise, we're not going to be able to show all of the information up on the screen, but there will be links to this video, and there'll be links to the information. So welcome. My name is Paul Jepson. I'm the city manager for the City of Globe, and I want to first thank the elected officials who have come to be with us tonight. Arizona Corporation Commission Commissioner Sandra Kennedy is here. Thank you. If you don't know, the Arizona Corporation Commission is in charge of oversight of all utilities, and she plays a key role in Arizona. Gila County Supervisor Tim Humphrey is here. Tim? City of Globe, Mayor Algameros. Council Member Freddie Rios. Council Member Mike Pastor. There he is. And Council Member Mariano Gonzalez. Okay, and then now also from the Town of Miami, we have Mayor Sammy Gonzalez. I believe Vice Mayor Dan Moat. Okay. And Councilmember Mike Black. And Councilmember Mike Sosa. Apologize for that. And so thank you for those for being here also. Did I miss anybody? Is there any elected officials I did not name? Okay, all right, well, thank you. And thank you. Oh, well, Town Manager Micah Gadet is here. Okay. Now, to begin with, I just want to introduce Supervisor Tim Humphrey from Gila County to share some remarks with you. Thank you. Tim?
Thank you, Paul, and thank you everyone for being here this evening. I was wishing to see more people because I know there's a lot more people that need help out there. I'd like to welcome you all here and in this devastating time of the storms that we've weathered, not only the fires, but also now that the fires are over, we've had the floods. And to give you just some idea of the water that we've received, like in the Russell Gulch area last year, about 1.9 inches, the year before that about the same. This monsoon season, almost 13 inches of rain just in this monsoon season. So even if we didn't have burn scars to deal with for all the runoff, we would still have a lot of floodwaters. And as we go forward in helping rebuild the community, I guess the big word is difficult for the people in need, but patience. Because I know we have a lot of people in need. I know we have a lot of people with damages. I know we have a lot of people looking for help. And believe me, we are too. And the organization that we've had has been amazing with the Town of Miami, City of Globe, and staff, emergency services. Because, you know, we've been dealing with things from COVID to the fires that aren't normal things, and now that we've had flooding, we're dealing with funding sources that we haven't dealt with before. And so, thank goodness that Governor Ducey put $100 million in DEMA. And you know, that's a big confusion between DEMA and FEMA. DEMA is state, FEMA is federal. We haven't qualified with the money amount to obtain any federal funds. So the funds that we've had have been through the state of Arizona in a grant form. And so the thing of it is we're able to help. And as these people that are introduced later with emergency services and Salvation Army and things, they'll explain to you more how this money is dispersed. And so, and we put together a call center. So if you need help, you can call. And there's different options on that call center. But as I say, patience would be greatly appreciated, and it would help you more in the long run, because we only have so many resources, and we're doing everything with everything we have to help all of the people that we can. And so as Carl with emergency services and things are speaking, they're going to present to you what Red Cross has to offer, what the road crew's doing, what emergency services is doing. And I, as chairman of the board, not only a supervisor, but now chairman of the board, I visited all of these places that have flooded, because it's not only here, it's Roosevelt, it's Tonto Basin, it's Payson. We've had an awful lot of water, there's been an awful lot of flooding. You see all the contractors working and all the things going on. As chairman of the board, I've had to be in all of those meetings. And in an emergency situation, I can make decisions for the whole board of supervisors, so that we're not waiting for a board meeting to have things approved. I have the ability to approve things and sign contracts as we need them in an emergency situation. So I apologize if you feel misrepresented, because my boots haven't been on the ground, but they have been in meeting after meeting after meeting. And both of my phones are turned off right now, because believe me, they do ring. And so we are helping you, and even though I haven't been there to touch your hand and tell you how sorry I am for what you've gone through, we all have been working very hard to make this happen. And so I would appreciate it if you listen to these people that are talking to you, so there's no more misinformation, and take advantage of the phone numbers and the people and the companies that are here to represent helping you. So I thank you very much. I welcome you, and I hope you get the information out of this meeting that you want. And at any time, if you would like a meeting with me, feel free to call my office at the courthouse, and I will be happy to return your call and set up a meeting. Thank you very much.
Supervisor Humphrey, thank you. Now I'd like to invite up Mayor Algamaros, Mayor, City of Globe.
Good evening and welcome to everybody. I hope that we can at least answer some of the questions that you have out there tonight. First of all, I want to thank our staff, City of Globe, Town of Miami, and the county for bringing this meeting together, working so hard to get it so we can bring you this information. I want to thank the Salvation Army American Red Cross. They've been truly busy these last couple of months with the fire and the flooding. They did an amazing job to help people out immediately. I hope that this meeting is a beginning to help us start to heal and start the recovery efforts as we plan for the future. You know, these events we've seen is an eye-opener for all of us in these last couple of months. Growing up here, born and raised, I don't think any of us saw this type of flooding ever. And to see the devastation that has occurred, it is amazing. You know, we've had, since the fire ended, we've had 3 major fires in 3 different areas of our community. But we have seen our community pull together. And I want to also commend the utility companies, especially in this last fire, where so many people were affected because of a trailer court. But there was so much damage and devastation there that lines and all the parts of the infrastructure needed to be assessed before putting water on, sewer and stuff like that. So I know Mrs. Kennedy is here from the ACC. I guarantee you that these utility companies have worked hard to get resources or services back to these people as soon as possible. I think we need to come to realize that this is our new future. It could happen again in 2 weeks, could happen again in 3 weeks, depending if we get a lot of rain again. But we got to prepare for the future, because this could be with us for years. And we need to make sure that we do the most we can to make sure that our waterways are open, that we prepare ourselves, even us as individuals, residents, for the floods. But no matter what we do, no matter what efforts, it still could happen again. Just be aware of that. You know, and I think things need to change in the system, in the higher levels, to get us help immediately to the people that need it. I know the American Red Cross and the Salvation are there immediately. As we saw in the trailer court, there's people that needed temporary housing. There's people that needed showers. There's people that needed bathrooms. That should come from the state level to help these people so we can help them get over to the next level. So that's something we need to work in the future through our legislature. So again, I thank you for coming, and I don't want to take a lot of time because I think this is for you, and we want to make sure that we can offer you as many answers as we can with the questions you have. So thank you for coming.
Mayor members, thank you very much. And now I would like to introduce Micah Gaudet, Miami Town Manager. Micah.
7 months ago, when I took on the responsibilities of town manager here in Miami, I don't think I could have ever expected to go through the fires and the floods and everything like that. You know, I heard of the resiliency of our community, and now I've experienced it firsthand. And really wanted to just thank every single one of you guys for caring for each other, for neighbors helping neighbors. Being out there on Thursday evening and Friday morning when the flood in Miami happened, and see everyone come together, I don't think I've ever seen something like that before. And so thank you all for what you guys did in helping each other out. Really do appreciate the community helping each other out. We're going to need that for the next 5 years as well as we work together. I think it's for the town of Miami and the city of Globe and Gila County, this starts with our leadership at the top. Teddy Roosevelt once said that it's not the critic that counts, but the one who actually is in the arena. And we have in the town of Miami a wonderful mayor who gets into the arena and helps the citizens out every single day. So I want to introduce Mayor Gonzalez and invite him up to say a few words. Thank you.
I want to welcome everybody for coming. You know, you guys know that Miami was the first that actually got hit with the flood. And it was just a tremendous, and I can't put words into seeing the devastation that this flood caused. I've seen families that were without a home. I've seen damages. I've been in houses. I've seen what kind of damage this flood can cause and has caused. And like our town manager stated, you know, it was such amazing the day after seeing how our community has came together to help and assist. You wouldn't think that there would be chaos. You would think there would be chaos. You would think there would be people like running around with their heads chopped off. But, you know, everybody had a job, and we got a job done, and the town has gradually gotten back to where it needs to be. It's not quite there yet, but it's getting there. For those that do not know, they took out about 3,000 tons of mud from that flood. We had DEMA come in. They did an assessment of 46 sites, and we also had 35 agencies that have been helping with the town. You know, so I think that everybody's coming together on this. I know there are people looking for answers, and tonight I think is going to be very important. If not, you guys would not be here. We would not have put this together. And, you know, if there's any questions or any more after this, I'm sure Gila County, City of Globe, and Town of Miami will be able to assist you guys with any questions that you guys have after today. So once again, I just want to thank you guys for coming, and I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce with you Gila County Emergency Manager, Carl Medford.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carl Milford, Emergency Manager for Gila County. I want to provide some updates on the current recovery efforts that our team is working on and has been working on. So, as many of you know, we had a very serious, very severe fire season this year. And one of the first things that I look at when we have a serious burn scar is that post-fire flooding potential. So we got moving on flood mitigation planning prior to the fire even having any containment on it. I think we might have drove the fire team a little bit nuts coming out there trying to put rain gauges in while the area was still on fire, but we wanted to express our concern with the severity of the flooding that could have resulted and has resulted. Gila County has an open emergency declaration for post-fire flooding. We had a meeting today with the Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs to discuss a public assistance grant. This is the funding that is open when there's an emergency declaration at the state level. A common misconception that comes along with the term public assistance. This is not actually a financial award to homeowners affected by a disaster. A public assistance grant is funding awarded to counties and municipalities to recover from their costs to responding to a disaster. In this instance, these grants would cover $200,000 per event as a 75% reimbursement. It would offer reimbursement of debris removal costs, staffing costs, and county and municipal infrastructure repair. House Bill 2001 that was signed by Governor Ducey has actually assisted us with the bulk of these costs already. This bill, it's $100 million to be shared statewide for fire suppression efforts and, of course, assisting with the post-fire flooding efforts. To kind of put these numbers in perspective, as of right now, about $4 million, just over $4 million of that money has been spent statewide, and $3.7 million of that money has been used in Gila County. Approximately $271,000 being utilized for the City of Globe, $188,000 for the Town of Miami, and the remaining $3.3 million for Gila County. To date, Gila County Emergency Management has submitted 91 total funding requests, and some examples of those funding requests are debris removal in washes, private and public properties, and roadways affected by fire or flooding. As many of you have seen, we've had contractors from all over the place down in these washes pulling out debris after every single rain event, trying to keep it to where the water can flow through quickly. Contract services with J.E. Fuller, who provide hydrology services, mapping, rain gauges, creek monitoring cameras, and assisting with flood mitigation projects. J.E. Fuller has helped significantly with not only knowing what is to come as far as hydrology predictions and whatnot, but real-time data with their rain gauges and trail cameras, so we could actually see in real time what was going on, which actually tremendously helped my department, who was in charge of Everbridge mass notifications for Gila County. If you're not on Everbridge, please sign up at www.readygila.com/Everbridge, and it's you can download the app in the App Store if you'd like, or you can just sign up for the program. And it can send you text message, email, phone call, and give you emergency alerts relative to your area. In this case, it also rebroadcasts National Weather Service flash flood warnings. It's also funded heavy equipment to assist with debris removal, sand, sandbags, sandbagging machines, and jersey barriers to mitigate properties, temporary living accommodations for individuals who have lost their homes due to fire or flooding, repairs to damaged infrastructure, repairs to damaged ingress and egress for homeowners. House Bill 2001 has aided Gila County, its municipalities, and its residents in a great time of need. The aforementioned projects and equipment purchases would not have been possible for Gila County without this bill. So regarding individual assistance, this is assistance for individuals and homeowners. Gila County Emergency Management has called upon the American Red Cross, the Salvation Army, and Team Rubicon to assist with their needs. The American Red Cross opened a shelter for the displaced folks after the flood and has also assisted us with damage assessments. The Salvation Army has provided feeding, hydration, cleanup kits, and numerous other services, and working by our sides in the EOC the whole time, so they've been a great help. And then Team Rubicon, who we've actually got several gray shirts here today. Team Rubicon is here to assist with cleaning out those homes, which is huge for us. So Team Rubicon, if you guys are here, raise your hands. I know there's some more in the back there. Let's give these guys a hand. Come out of the way to help us out. So Team Rubicon will have a table set up outside. If you need assistance cleaning up your homes, please see them, sign their waiver. If we don't have that waiver signed, they can't help you, so please help them help you. Our team is currently staffing the call center and processing contractor quotes for private property debris removal. Over 100 callers have been assisted, 5 contracts have been completed in full and are prepared to begin work, 12 additional contracts are now under review, and 2 reimbursements for already completed work have been submitted. One of those has already been completed. And one thing that I think has been overlooked since the beginning of this is the fact that we've had 4 major flood events and we have not had one single death or injury. And I think that is tremendous, and that is nothing short of a miracle. So this is an ongoing effort, and we'll continue to provide these services and more. And emergency management's goal is always to return their community to a state of normalcy, and we won't rest until we get there. So thank you all.
Thank you, Carl. At this time, I'd like to invite Steve Sanders, Gila County Public Works Director.
Thanks, Micah. Good evening, everyone. A few of the things that Public Works has been doing, we realized when before the fires were out, that we had the potential to have flooding. We didn't know how bad, and certainly didn't expect it to be as bad as it was. As Carl mentioned, we brought J.E. Fuller on. They developed maps to identify inundation areas where we could expect the deepest water. Unfortunately, the maps have proved pretty well correct with these latest events. We've also started sandbagging. The community came together great. Volunteers the first month were overwhelming. I think we've probably filled over 40,000 sandbags now. That's not counting what the city's done and what the prison has done for us. And we've distributed sandbags from Tonto Basin to Roosevelt, El Capitan. And while everyone here, we're concerned about Low Miami, we're experiencing flooding on the backside of the canals in the El Capitan area, Dripping Springs area, Roosevelt area, Tonto Basin. Widespread damage in all of those communities. As Carl mentioned on the contractors, I believe we put maybe 10 local contractors under contract to clean creeks, do debris removal, that type of stuff. We started with $75,000 per contractor. We blew through that in probably the first 2 weeks. The state has continued to fund, which we hope they will. We need permission. Some people have given permission, others may not know about it. If you live on one of the drainages impacted, give us permission, we'll come in and clean it up for you if you want that. Some people don't want us to, we'll stay off, but if you do, give us permission, we'll come in and clean up. We brought in Natural Resource Conservation Service. It's a branch of the Department of Agriculture. We identified probably 23 potential projects on all of the drainages coming out of the canals. From those, we've narrowed it down to probably 7 critical projects that we're applying for funding. These are long-term projects. They're not going to help this year, but we're in this for the long haul. We're looking probably 5 years before that mountain will start to regrow and flooding will slow down. But the projects have to do with channel protection of the stream banks, trying to keep the creeks in their channels, armoring some of the channels to try to protect the private property adjacent to them. One of the first things we did was we realized Russell Gulch would be a problem. We worked with BHP. They were great. They gave us just a permission to go build a road or upgrade a road that existed in case the hospital was cut off. So we got that set up where there's 24-hour access now, or for the most part into the hospital where they're not isolated from a flood. Working with BHP on a long-term easement to keep that road in place. And other than that, we're continuing to clean up, to look to things that we can do. If you have questions, I'm around later. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Steve. I'd like to invite Mr. Freddie Rios from Arizona Water Division Manager, Miami and Vulcan Valley.
Thank you, Micah, and welcome everybody to this town hall. I want to speak a little bit about Arizona Water's experience in not only the flood but the fires that happened before. We all know about the fires, but Arizona Water has always been committed to serving its community and being a good partner with its business communities and municipalities as well. And during the fire, obviously there was much water that was needed for fighting fires in the mountains and even near in the foothills. Arizona Water remained committed to provide water to the fire teams. We worked very closely with the incident command teams, and I think it proved to be beneficial to everybody. Once the fires passed us, we obviously experienced the floods. And in Miami, we do serve Miami Globe, parts of Globe, our Miami water system as we call it. But we were fortunate that we didn't lose our facilities like we did in the Russell Gulch flood, particularly the Little Acres Mobile Home Park. That was a devastating area there for most all the utilities that were there. Again, in Miami, we were very fortunate that we kept positive pressure in our system, and so the water system was never compromised, and it stayed intact. So we really didn't experience outages. However, in Little Acres, it was a different story. Trailers got moved off of their platforms. Cars were being relocated from wherever they were to another location. We quickly realized that because of that, our system was compromised. We witnessed once the waters had subsided and gone down, and all we had was the muddy mess and debris. We saw water seeping from the ground in multiple places. So I had to make the decision to turn the water off to the court so that we would not compromise our system any more than it already had been. When trailers move, you have broken sewer laterals that go from the trailer to the septic tanks. And so it took us a couple days to evaluate, find all of our services. Obviously, we found the ones that were broken, we quickly repaired those, and then we had to find the ones that weren't broken so that we could identify any other potential hazards. Quickly after that, we made the decision to, after we remedied the repairs, we had to quickly flush and disinfect the entire system. We did that over the weekend. We drove samples to, water samples to the lab on Monday, this past Monday. It's a 24-hour test, and all the samples came out clear, which gave us the go-ahead to reactivate service to Little Acres. Outside of Little Acres, we really didn't experience any outages. Although some people were flooded, we maintained positive pressure in those areas. I can say today that after we received the samples, we call them absent samples, but the clear samples, we worked directly with the plumbing outfitters that were there, which are doing a fantastic job. One cleaning the septic tanks on site, and then the other one cammering the infrastructure underground to make sure that there's no compromise to the sewer lines. Once we get the clear from the plumber and on the sewer end, then we activate the service. We've been working very closely with that outfit. I can say today that we have activated 24 service connections that are now being served with water and sewer, and we still have 16 that are being evaluated. So hopefully we can get through those 16 quickly and reestablish service to the entire park. I had the good fortune to be able to serve this community as a division manager, but as the City of Globe, and we are.
Our mission is to help our community, help elevate our community, especially at times like this. Last Monday, our board voted to seed a program that would help homeowners get back into their homes. So if a homeowner has damage and needs help putting in new carpet, drywall repairs, water heaters, something like this, our organization, along with local stakeholders, we came together and we raised, and this is all local dollars, $258,000. And awesome news. And so our partners are United Fund, of course, Freeport McMoran, BHP, Capstone Miami Mining, Southwest Gas, and the Globe Lions Club. So please, if you see any of their members or employees out there, say thank you to them. We're very excited to be able to partner with the Salvation Army, and they are our partner in administrating this program. And so next, we would love to have Captain Jeff Williams and Major Tammy Ray come to the stage to discuss the program details, how you can apply, the expectations on how long the process should take and things like that. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for inviting us to come and speak with you this evening. It has been a pleasure to be able to be in your community, to get to know some of the folks that have been affected by this flood, but also the wonderful people that are coming alongside the Salvation Army and the other agencies in order to assist each of you that are really going to be struggling for just a little bit. We're grateful for the partnership that we have with the United Fund of Globe, and we are thrilled that we get to work with them and other people in our community. We have a wonderful representative here that lives locally. She's one of you. Her name is Yvette Ngolo, and she's great. And we just are so grateful for how she represents the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army's been in Globe for well over 100 years. You may not have realized that, but we have been. And we don't plan to leave. And we plan to stand alongside you as you go through these times of difficulty. So, to the funding. We have set up a whole plan of how to apply for funding. We have flyers that kind of gives you the breakdown of how it all will work. And if you have any questions about it, please feel free to contact us. We are going to be quickly transitioning in the next couple of days from the Safeway location to our local office. And that's going to be happening within this next couple of days. So just so you're aware, we're not at Safeway. You can find us at the Salvation Army on Cedar. So, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, you know, as Tammy said, we want to thank you guys for allowing us to come into your community. Usually a small community like this, so tight, so interwoven, it's hard for an outsider to come in and try to do something. But we are absolutely here for you. We're actually absolutely want to love on you guys, talk with you guys. Feel free if you see us out and about to stop us. We want to hear your stories. We want to be a part of your family. We want to be a part of your lives. And like she said, we're not going anywhere. Eventually I'll have to go back down the hill, I promise. I can't stay forever. But Yvette stays. And, but as long as we're here, and I will be visiting actually at Fallen in Love with Globe, and it's about 15 degrees cooler up here than it is where we're from. So, but yes, we want to be a part of your guys' journey and your guys' story. So please, by all means, reach out to us. Let us be a part of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Jeff and Major Tammy there. And please take advantage of those resources that are out there with Salvation Army United Fund. We do appreciate their help there. And then also with the county resources for debris removal from the contractors. So please take advantage of what's out there. And if there's any questions at all, please contact myself. You can always call the Town of Miami, the City of Globe officials, Gila County. We want to be a resource for you and answer any questions. And even if you just need to call and vent, and yell at someone, you can call me. I would, more than happy to take that phone call and hear your story and have you vent. It's no problem. I want to also open it up here for any questions from the audience that you might have. We have a mic down here. That's
Yeah. This is this live. Can you hear me on this mic?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a live mic. Believe me, the camera is not on this mic. The camera is on the stage. Come down, ask your question into the mic so that everyone can hear it, it's captured, and then Michael will invite the proper person up to answer that, and they'll answer from the stage in that mic. So this is the most important part of this, is your questions need to be answered. So please don't be bashful, and believe me, you won't be captured on YouTube or Facebook forever. But come on down. Questions?
And if you could, when you come down, if you could state your name and maybe what community you're part of, like Miami or Globe, or that way we can help direct resources.
My name is Charles Bejarano, and I used to live in the house right down here on the street on Vegas Road. I'm sure most of you passed by it, going with all the furniture out. My question was, I'm just curious as to why the water was rerouted towards the Bonnie's Pizza area, the Ohio Hotel, and then my mom's house area, instead of it going out to the field, the Freeport owned field like it was originally intended to. That was my question.
Thank you for your question. I'm sorry for the loss to you and your family here. I'll have Steve Sanders come up here and answer this question.
There was no rerouting of any channels. There was just too much water for the channel to carry. It broke out at the upper end of Little Acres, come down the roads, and then it broke out again by the hospital, come down through Cecil's, and once it was out of the channel, it went where it wanted to go, but no one rerouted any channel or any water.
If this was known, like you guys were explaining at the beginning of this meeting, that there was going to be some flooding happening, I was just wondering why people in the community weren't warned ahead of time to prepare for this.
There was, There's been meetings. There was a meeting at the City of Globe. Maps were shared with people. It was broadcast live. There's been no trying to not share with people. The maps are out there showing the inundation areas, the flood areas. I mean, it's been out there for everybody to see.
Well, with this extreme weather that happened, I was wondering why nobody was told to evacuate, or if like the channels weren't going to hold like they were supposed to. Why wasn't anybody informed? Why wasn't anybody told? It should have been in the newspaper.
Yeah, well, like,
Not all of us have access to internet out here, so I'm just curious as to why that happened.
So, we've been advertising in every possible way that we can. And like Everbridge, you don't have to have internet. You can just sign up, call our office, sign up, and you get a phone call. The national weather warnings have gone out, and those flash flood warnings have been issued for every single flood event. But you did bring up a good question, and that is why was an evacuation order not issued? So we had a discussion with the Gila County Sheriff's Office to talk about what an evacuation would look like in a flash flood event, because it's something we've never done before. And the determination was made that it actually puts people at greater risk to have them evacuate during a flood than for them to stay in place. And the reason is because the Pinal watershed, it's not like, so for example, Tonto Basin, if it rains up north of Tonto Basin, we've got hours before it makes its way down. When it rains on the mountains, it's less than 20 minutes. So it's a quick response. And for example, I've spoken with people who were in their homes standing in a foot of water. Believe it or not, they were safer standing in a foot of water in their homes than walking out into 3 feet of water on the ground. So I know it's a tough decision to make. I mean, it really is. But the least amount of risk was chosen, because another example, say for the canyons, for example, most of the homes in most of the canyons sit higher than the roadways. And if we were to evacuate people, have a traffic jam on the roadway, and it floods, people are at higher risk outside of their homes than they are in their homes. So that's why that decision was made, and we've continued to advertise, and I understand it's not a perfect system, not everyone's gonna get hit, but we had flyers out, we had town hall meetings and everything, and I would love to get you signed up for Everbridge. I mean, I can't tell you
Well, I
exactly.
don't need to be, because I think it would have been better, because I have a sister who's staying at, my other sister's home, who's struggling with some PTSD, because she was actually trapped in that house while it was flooding. She has bruises all over her body, she got her toe cut up, so I don't think that was the right decision to make, honestly, if that's her lower risk. Like, she could be dead, she's having some mental problems now.
I understand that, but on the same end, we've had 4 flood events with no deaths, and that is an unheard of record. That's not something you commonly see. So, and I'm terribly sorry that happened, but if that happened inside of the home, with enough water to move a home, imagine if she was on the road. If it moved a home.
I'd rather not imagine it at all. I don't know why this happened, I don't know why, like, this doesn't make sense. There's people that lived here all their lives and never seen anything like this.
I'm one of them, I've been here all my life.
And the insurance thing too, my mom can't even get insurance because they're saying it's not a natural flood, so what does that mean?
I would talk to one of those insurance reps on there, I'm not an expert on
That's why you
insurance.
can't ask questions,
Oh, yeah.
that's why I came to ask you.
No worries.
So if you don't have any answers for me, I guess I'm done.
So feel free to ask Mr. Matt Storms in the back. He has a booth out there. Feel free to ask any questions about insurance. And anyone that asks questions about insurance, that's your go-to resource.
Hi, I'm Nora Green with Miami, and I was wondering if there's going to be any assistance with personal, or like I've lost a lot of inventory for my business. Is there any type of reimbursement coming from that direction? All I've heard about is outside debris removal.
So specifically for businesses, that is a gap that we're still needing to work on. We have resources available for residents. I know that the Arizona Commerce Authority and the Governor's Office had a grant recently to help with hiring and rehiring individuals, and that there was some cost to utility damage for businesses. But in terms of inventory goes, that's something that we're still, researching out to and reach out to different partners, unless, if anyone else has something to say on that.
Well, they're talking about help with drywall, I keep hearing that. I'm not getting any help with the drywall replacement in my building. It
Yes.
wasn't offered, I did go through the emergency response program.
Yes, that is still a gap that we are working hard to address, and that's an issue for your business and many other businesses in Miami and Globe that are impacted by that, and it's something we're trying to.
So we don't have anything as of yet?
Unless Carl, if he has something,
Okay.
maybe Carl has good news.
So what kind of, sorry, I have to answer your question with the question to move forward. What kind of business do you have and what does that damage look like?
It's a retail business. I was on the corner of Live Oak, or I am on the corner of Live Oak and Miami Avenue. I got hit pretty hard, along with several other businesses in Miami, and we're gonna be closed. I mean, we've cut out the drywall, we've replaced it, but I had remodeled my whole shop right before the storm came in. So,
I'm sorry to hear that, and we're actively seeking answers for private property owners, but what we can, or for private business owners, what we can offer is, assistance with getting that debris out of there. I know that doesn't seem like much, and I wish I had more to offer you, I really do, but.
we worked around the clock the first 2 days to get that out of there, because we didn't want it sitting on the inventory, obviously. So we got all that part done, we just need help with the.
That's one of the things that the unfortunate part is when these disasters come, those resources don't just, arrive to us and present themselves. We have to hunt and search for them. And that's something that anyone here can vouch, we spent our last month doing since the start of this event and even before that with the fire. So I really hope that the next time I see you, I'll have even better news. But as of right now, there's not really any programs that I know of to assist with business and inventory and stuff like that. And again, I'm sorry, I don't always have the best answers, but I do have that answer for you.
All right, just wanted to make sure.
Thank you for that question.
Hi, I'm Crystal Belterra. I'm the assistant manager at the Little Acres Mobile Home Park, and as you guys are all aware, we were the ones that were hit really, really hard. My manager, Kurt Anderson, can't be here tonight because he's elderly and he's not in really good condition. For all you ones that are not aware of how many tenants I actually have in the park, I have 44 tenants. So, sorry. Out of the 44 tenants, I have 14 that have nothing at all. I have 23 staying, and I have 7 that are questionable right now. The type of waters that we had were, so you can imagine how big a park is at 44 tenants. So from one side of the park, I literally had one of our trailers float with no axles all the way down to the middle of the park and ended up on the other side of the park, which pushed other trailers. We had vehicles that were floating by, trees, tires, anything you can think of. We had many vehicles that were just floating around. We had travel trailers that were like just floating. So it's really been devastating. As y'all know, with the water company, which is Freddie Rios and his crew have been nonstop helping us, along with DJs and along with Tim from EarthQuest with the plumbing. So we've been a week without water. Yesterday was 7 days. Our water would come on, they would do what they had to do, but then we'd have lines break, we had to go through all the testing process. With all of that, we had absolutely nobody come and provide us with showers in those 7 days. Yeah, nothing at all. I would like to have a huge thanks to Kurt Noss. He's a superintendent technical training at Freeport. He took it upon himself to hire automotive and DJs for our dumpsters to come into the park and start cleanup right away. We didn't have anybody else that reached out to us. He took it upon himself to do that. He also provided us with porta-johns so we had places to go to the bathroom. He also provided us with drinks, food, and water, everything that we needed. Along with Salvation Army, I would like to thank Jeff. He's been a tremendous help to let us know what our resources are to try to get some of these homes back in place. And as far as building, like if any of them, the ones that are 23 that are staying, as y'all know, all these homes, the water like came through all the doors. So some of these people have no place to go at all, so these are a lot of the ones that are wanting to stay. So Salvation Army has the funding that we're gonna try to do to get the flooring fixed and for a place for them to be able to just be home and be able to be there. I would also like to thank Joe Wilson. He brought us a huge tank of water because, as you know, we didn't have water for a week, so we had nothing. We had nothing to rinse with. We had nothing at all. Joe Wilson was the one that brought the water for us to be able to do cleanup. Secondly, I have Justin Carlos, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, along with Carl Melford, Emergency Services in the Gila County, came to us, and finally they were a big help. They let us know, what can we do about debris cleanup? Who's going to be doing this? I mean, that plan went into effect, and I would like to thank CDX. They're going to be the one that's going to be helping us out. But like I said before that, it was Freeport that jumped in, Kurt, to help us. Along with that, I have, so one of the things that I would like to ask is on June 9th, we had the fire. So over 2 months later, on August 18th was the flood. So in Little Acres Home Park, we have a main creek that runs behind us, which is on, what side of the creek do we have? The west, southwest side, or actually the west side is where the creek runs behind. Nothing has been cleaned up in the 2 months that was there to help clear that creek out, or anything up above that would go up towards the canals that would chamber into that creek. None of that cleanup was made. So there was huge trees coming down, tons and tons of debris. I mean, nothing was done in 2 months. We didn't see any cleanup at all at all. As far as the perimeter, which is the southwest, the south and the west side of the park. On the right side of the park, we have the APS water power plant. The power plant, I'm sorry. So all the water that's coming through, we have no diversion, no barricades, no nothing on the perimeter of the park to protect us from that creek at all. So when all that water came, it flooded out all of the APS. I mean, that's just my question. We're trying to figure out what is going to protect around the park now from future flooding.
Sure, and first, we're truly sorry for the loss that you and your community experienced, and thank you for the update. A lot of community partners have rallied together, yourselves included, to help these residents in need. Now, to the question on the creek cleanup, I'm going to invite Steve Sanders to speak to that.
That's all BHP property, and in the beginning, they weren't real receptive to going in and cleaning things up. We've since worked with them very closely. They've identified areas that we need to stay out of, areas that we can go into, and we will, as quickly as we can, be getting into the areas now that we hadn't before.
Okay, so you guys had a hard time getting a hold of them in order to get this taken care of the cleanup?
They just had environmental concerns, and then with the solitude tailings there, I believe they have probably special conditions. We didn't go into great detail, but they didn't want us in there at the beginning until they could do some environmental mitigation, remediation, and get approval, which we just got within the last couple of weeks. But I don't know if you noticed, the road that crosses by the county public works, we're starting to clean downstream from that road. That's all BHP in there, so we will be starting upstream also.
Okay, so is there anything that you guys are going to be able to coordinate with BHP to try to get some barriers put up? We did notice on the right side of the park that they did put some cement barricades that is in front of the power plant now, but that doesn't help us on the south side of the park and around that corner from where the creek actually is.
Right, and the barricades or the barriers you're talking about, APS put in at the start. Their engineers, we just found out about them today. They started working with our engineers to make sure those can go in and stay. Russell Gulch is a mapped floodplain, and unfortunately, like Carl said, FEMA won't come help us, but they still control the waterways, and we have to follow their rules. So we're seeing what we can do without violating rules and breaking laws. But we are looking at all options.
Or to have something to put up around there to help better protect us in the park, right?
Honestly, the concrete blocks that APS put in now, if they had been in there, they wouldn't have stayed.
Yeah, we're needing probably a minimum of 10 feet.
Yeah, and we're looking long-term at the channel right there of actually digging the channel out, armoring the sides, trying to build a channel to control all the water. But again, it's not going to help right now, but hopefully we have something like that in place next year. We're looking at about 5 different places to do that.
Okay, is there anything that we need to do? I mean, there's another pretty big storm coming in, we've seen that.
I'll let Carl answer that on emergency preparedness.
So in the meantime, I mean, we're still not out of the woods yet, and we're still in monsoon season. There's some tropical storms looking to make their way up through to Monday. I have daily briefings with the National Weather Service, and like I talked about earlier with Everbridge, all of those warnings go out there. As you can imagine, the project that Mr. Sanders was talking about, removing sediment and making the creek deeper, that's not something that happens over a weekend. I wish it was. I wish we had all the power and the money and permissions in the world to do it, but the realism is it can't happen that fast, and there is more weather incoming, probably for the remainder of the monsoon season, so please sign up for Everbridge, get those warnings. If you know there's a storm and you're in that area, I highly recommend staying out, and if there is an emergency message, a flash flood warning, if you're in that flood zone, your best bet is to shelter in place, because I'd hate to see somebody try to evacuate and not have the time to do so.
Okay, the other question I have is, so we were hit hard this year with the flooding. Of course, we've seen that. This is the most rainfall that we've had. In previous years, we didn't. But my question is, why weren't these creeks all the way around us? Because we also had a flood before this. Downtown, I mean, the water was coming over the bridges. So why haven't these creeks around in our in the counties, Globe, Miami, why haven't those been cleaned at all? Those have not been cleaned. We've not seen any cleaning of those in years. So if those would have been maintained, we wouldn't have had a lot of this stuff that's going on in the creeks. And I worked for a company in Miami and addressed, there's some of them we saw sewer lines were open at times, and I went over to the town hall and they got those fixed. But beside the point, the creeks around here have not been being maintained at all for years.
Besides the cost to clean them, in 2017 when the Pinal fire burnt, Russell Gulch was cleaned, Kellner Canyon was cleaned, Ice House Canyon was cleaned, Six Shooter Canyon was cleaned, and Pinal Creek through Globe was cleaned. I believe the NRCS I spoke of earlier, they funded that project to $250,000 to clean them. Most of the creeks are on private property. it comes to the owners to keep them clean. The county can go in when there's an emergency declaration and work with the owners, but normally we can't go on private property and spend government funds to improve private property if we're breaking the law when we do.
Okay. Is there anything that we're going to do, as Fred Rios mentioned, that we do not have everybody that has water in our park yet? So is there anything that anybody can do about getting showers in there for these people? I mean, some of these people have no resources. They are their own entities living in their homes with no way to take a shower, no transportation. Is there anything that we can do about that? Because the water company is doing everything they can, and they have been awesome around the clock. They've done everything that they can do, but like you said, it's a step process. So, is there anything that we can do about that?
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned earlier, we've got it approved to provide temporary housing accommodations. So that would be hotels, and I know we've got some community transport companies in the area. I'll have to get back with you on the names and phone numbers for those. But if they don't have transportation, we can utilize those and get them over to a hotel and get a temporary amount of that funded. It's obviously not a permanent solution, but it'll get folks out there. And I'm glad that you're here to help share that information, because I heard many stories of people living in their cars and not having access to showers. When we had that Red Cross shelter open, there was one family there for a short time and they left. So, I mean, the Red Cross had to close up the shelter because there's no one in there. And we did everything we could to advertise, because I'm hearing stories of people that are, staying in their cars or don't have access, and we had a shelter open. So I'm glad that you're here and you can be an advocate for the park, and I hope that the folks that live in that park realize what they have in you is more than just a park manager, it's an advocate. So I just want to give my hats off to you guys for doing that, and let's work together, let's make it happen, because we have those resources available.
Thank you. And also, you have my information, so would you be able to get with me before I leave here? That way, I'm going to take it upon myself to go back and start talking to the tenants I need to in order so they can get a bath. And that's a little bit of hope. I mean, when you get a bath, we all get happy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so after the meeting, I have to meet with Team Rubicon, but catch me on the way out there and we'll talk. And I imagine they'll be talking with you soon, because that's the first area of priority for their assignment.
And thank you, because you guys have been a big help, the both of you guys, in letting us know what else we need to do for recovery.
I try. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And to address the question on transit, the town of Miami operates with support from the City of Globe and Gila County, the Copper Mountain Transit Authority. The phone number for the Copper Mountain Transit Authority is 928-473-8222. This is a stop service and a dial-a-ride as well. Please give us a call if you have anyone that needs transportation services, and we'd be more than happy to assist them.
Joe Stapleton, I'm with Vonnie's Pizza. It's been hard. I've been on the TV, I've been talking to people, but I'm trying to find out long term, but you guys have answered a lot.
Listen to the microphone.
Thank you. Wait a minute, it's too short. Okay, that brought up, I was nervous doing this, but now can you guys go to the Forest Service and ask them, because they have shower trucks. They bring them in for the fires, and they may have somebody that might be in the shower, a shower truck for these people to take showers. That's just a suggestion. The other thing I got is, I'm looking for something long term. This is because we didn't get as much damage as we expected at first. The oil hotel got just demolished. Then Mr. Barro's here. He was down there cleaning the house down here at Mike's house. They got toasted too. She was lucky to get out because that water was running through their house. It wasn't something that was standing; it was running. She was able to get out with the help of another lady that helped her get out. you know, and I understand why staying in your place and staying safe. I understand that, but at the time, you just want to get out because you're afraid of that water. You know, I'm a tough guy, I think, and I was actually scared for my wife. It's not fun, you know. It's but we got the oil hotel, which is right now we're digging out, and they need help. They need big help. The owner left. I'm not sure if we worry about it, but the owner was here and he left. So I'm going to try to get information for him, take it back to him. About the dumpsters, he's worried about filling the dumpsters up because it's going to be too costly for him. I found out from Alfred, and I do thank Alfred for answering all my phone calls during the week. He got us dumpsters down there so they can get started. They got Mike's house, the dumpster, they're still waiting on something to help them get cleaned out. I know the gentlemen, people here that are here to help clean these houses out. I really appreciate it. But now you've got AMPM. There's nobody there. We need that cleaned out because the culverts down there, they're very small culverts, and that's the reason we flooded so bad. It cannot handle that water. I understand it was a large amount of water. I checked out the creeks. Nothing got plugged like we all originally thought. There's a few culverts up at the end of AMPM. By Mike's house, there's some culverts there that the railroad was able to see them when they started repairing the railroad. They actually dug the creeks out, which made the water go, and they also dug their railroad out so that the water would get away from making so much damage. But AMPM is going to be an eyesore because there's nobody there. Nobody's going to clean it. Nobody's going to take the responsibility. So is there any way that we can get that stuff cleaned out? Because there's debris everywhere. There's mud, you know, crazy amounts of mud down there. Because everything that was up above came down to us. You know, that's one question I got for you guys. Can we get that cleaned up, or do we have to wait for somebody to force AMPM or whoever owns that property to clean it?
I don't want to speak for the city of Globe, but that's in the city, and I believe they have resources and the ability to reach out to the owners and work with them or have them clean their properties up. And as far as the dumpsters, at the landfill at Russell Gulch, we've waived fees for all of these damages. We're taking everything that comes in. People bring something in, just tell us at the scale house, and there's no charge for it.
Yeah, because they're right now, you know, I went down and I looked at in the rooms and stuff today because, you know, we try to keep in communication with those people. And, you know, they lost everything downstairs. Every room is gone, so.
I could imagine,
yeah. They've been mucking it out and giving stuff away that they can give away.
And I did see some dumpsters in there. I don't know who they belong to, but when they come out, all they need to do is let the landfill know, and there's no fees for them.
These are huge dumpsters, so.
We're bringing 40 yards in on an hourly basis, so.
We appreciate that.
Unexpected.
So just got an update on that. So they've actually submitted a contract approval, I believe it was today. We have somebody who's going out there tomorrow to look at AMPM and look over that, and we plan to approve that contract tomorrow to get the debris removed from that property. I know it's not a perfect fix, it's not a full clean out, but debris removal, I mean, it's a start, and that'll tremendously help out the area. For sure.
Is there any way that they can get approval to get bigger culverts? Because these culverts down there are very small. Even if we get a major rain, it's gonna plug up. We have issues down there. Every time it rains, we have issues in that place.
Yeah, if it's a constant issue, for sure, we'll talk it over with the city and the county and address that. And thank you for your heartfelt words as well.
Let me check my list now that I'm not crying so much. You guys answered a whole bunch of them, and I do appreciate you guys having this meeting because we get a lot of questions at the shop. They come down asking me for questions because I've been we've been on the news a lot, and our prayers go out to those people in the Blue Lake.
Well, you provide the best breadsticks in town, we're gonna keep answering your questions, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Tim Gonzalez. I want to start out by talking about a friend of mine that was, I guess, victim of the fire, kind of. He had to be evacuated, and because he's a veteran that's waiting for a lung transplant, so he couldn't stick around because of all the smoke and stuff like that. So I evacuated him up to Payson for a while. Then he comes back to his house, and then the flood comes, and his house completely gets destroyed. So then I tried my best, as fast as I could, to go get him out of the flood, and took him to a motel, and he stayed there, and he missed all of the opportunities to be able to get help because he was at the oil motel. And so my question is there a way of developing a plan for notifying and evacuating some of the elderly and disabled or vulnerable adults, people that aren't able to, necessarily have internet or possibly phones or stuff like that? Is there a plan to help them and identify who these people are?
Yes, absolutely. So going back to when I discussed Everbridge earlier, when you sign up for Everbridge, one of the things that it asks is if you have access or functional needs. So we can find assistance for those folks. And Everbridge is an opt-in program. We don't know that information unless it's provided to us, but I mean, we can assist in getting them signed up with Everbridge. That shouldn't be an issue. And that'll give them, or give us the alert that, there's a person out there that may need help evacuating.
Okay, so then when there is something like when Everbridge does the notification, someone is going to go tell them physically that that's going on?
Yeah, and also, so when we do evacuations, it's a two-part process. There are door-to-door in-person notifications, and Everbridge is sent out at the same time, and we're usually pretty good about sending it at the same time, but I mean, you're going to get the Everbridge notice faster because, I mean, it's immediate. We've sent messages to thousands and thousands of people within minutes, so it does move faster than door-to-door notifications for sure. But they can rest assured that we still do both. So even though Everbridge will confirm that somebody is notified, we're still going to send somebody to that house to make sure that that is done.
Okay. Now, is Team Rubicon, are they only helping the current flood victims? Or are they, because this guy's house is still destroyed, are they going to be able to help people from, because I mean, it hasn't been that long since the flood in Miami.
Oh no, we've called them to help out with the flooding in general. I mean, it's not specific to one rainstorm or the other. I'd say have them sign a waiver for Team Rubicon and work with them.
Okay, and what about the United Fund money? Is that only going for current, or is that also for flood victims from the previous flood?
So the flood, that's for flood assistance for anyone, if it's here in the Southern Gila County area. And I'd also encourage you and your friend to look into applying for what the county has with debris removal. You can talk with Carl afterwards from the county. There's money out there to assist with individual with debris removal. And I don't know if Linda wants to say anything else on United Fund's half regarding assistance, but you can also talk to the Salvation Army representatives. I know they talked about their flyer they had here that outlined how to go about accessing and applying for those funds. So please talk to Salvation Army as well too.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Pappas, Lower Russell Road. We were affected by that, but I heard someone say before that BHP had concerns with environmental issues. That's why they weren't allowing us to go through and clean that as a city. So should we be aware of any environmental issues such as contaminated soils or anything like that? Has anyone done soil testing? I had 3 foot of water at my mom's house, 2 foot of mine, and to add more to the mix, I would really appreciate to know that.
No, when I said environmental, I didn't mean it that way. I meant it as waters of the U.S. that's regulated by the Army Corps of Engineers. There was just, they were interpreting rules different than others were interpreting rules, and it just took some discussion to iron it out. But no type of contaminants, more just rules of what you can do in waterways and what you can't do in waterways.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for the community support.
Thank you for that question. Any other questions?
Hi, my name's Paul Bennett. I live in Little Acres Mobile Home Park. My house, as well as many others, got hit. We have 24 homes left, and as Crystal pointed out, we have another huge storm rolling through. It's going to hit us for at least 4 days that it's forecasting. So I don't know if we can get with the county or BHP, but we need berms put up on my west side and also the south side, like ASAP. I know it's only a temporary fix, but like I said, we only have 24 homes out of 44 left. If this comes back into our park, these homes are gone. It's going to wipe us out completely. We've done the water company, APS, Southwest Gas, all the labor, and all these contractors that come in and they bust their butts and they've got stuff done. But like I said, if these berms aren't built up and they're temporary, we're done.
So I know that, and as Carol wants to speak to this as well, emergency management has constant communication with the National Weather Service, and there's tracking the tropical storm that's coming through this way. But to your point, county is working as quickly as they can to work with contractors and address these situations. I'll open up for any comments from Steve or Carl.
Can we get a hold of maybe BHP or the Army Corps of Engineers just to get them out there, just to build, just temporary, just to keep us?
There's nothing we could do temporary that would work. It's going to have to be an engineered structure in place to protect. I mean, it doesn't matter how big a pile of dirt we put in somewhere. The floods that came last week would have took them out. It would have to be some type of engineered structure, and we're working on that long term. Like I said earlier, it's not a quick solution, but we are working towards that ultimate objective as something that will last.
So I understand, like I said, you guys are looking more towards long term, but just even if we can get a dozer in that wash and just start pushing up, I understand that the water's going to come down, it's going to wash that out, and you guys are doing your best job to clean up and keep it clean, or however it's working out. But we just need the berms up back behind the homes and beside the homes, just even pushed up. It's not, you can get a D8, a D10, BHP's right there. Freeport has been awesome and they've lended their hand. Maybe they can get something down there, even a small dozer, just something to push up that bank, just so we don't get flooded again, because it's going to fill the park. We have no barriers at this point. Last time we had barriers, we had sandbags, we had other things, but like I said, if this water comes through, it's coming through quick and heavy, and it's going to bring a lot of debris with it. Because last time, like I said, we were protected a little bit, but now we're unprotected. So even just get, like I said, getting the dozer in there and pushing it temporary, just for this storm to pass, and we can start heading further into the future with it.
We'll look at options, but I'm not convinced. I would have to talk to our engineers to see if they think that would be a benefit or not. But we will look at it.
Thank you, guys.
I'm going to add a little more onto to your question with the concern of the upcoming storm. I guess just trying to push a little optimism. I mean, I can't speak on engineering because I'm not an engineer, but just one thing that I have noticed, so in post-fire flooding, the first debris flowing flood is always the worst when it comes to soil being hydrophobic. And I've been kind of watching that Miami wash as an example of the soil burn severity. And you know, for those that don't understand what that means, after a fire, depending on the heat of the fire and the severity of the burn is what causes the level of hydrophobic soil. This fire was mostly in the moderate, some areas of severe, and it takes a while for that stuff to heal, but as catastrophic as this monsoon season was for us, the silver lining is that a lot of that debris that's off the hill is pushed off and it's pushed down. And one example that I can give is that first rain in Miami. I mean, we saw devastating waters come through there and, you know, rose up within hours, went back down within hours. Well, now when we get rain, it's a slower rise and a much slower decline. What that means is that soil is healing already. It's not going to be done and healed in the matter of a year completely, but it's making progress. So the last rain in Miami, it kept the creek running for days and days. When the first initial one, it dropped down within hours. So I have hopes that, you know, as catastrophic as that flooding was, I have hopes that that is going to cause for less debris in future events and more soil absorbency and less water flow going downhill. I don't say that to want anyone to let their guards down or anything. I say that with high hopes for future events being less catastrophic.
And thank you for the questions. And again, we're truly sorry for the loss you and your family have experienced. If you're not already in contact with Salvation Army and the resources, please do so. Any other questions?
Some comments. My name is Jeannie Garrett, and I live at the property down the street on Regis Road. My son Charles was speaking earlier, and the amount of damage to my home is catastrophic. I can't even go in there. I won't take my 8-year-old in there, and now to worry that there's going to be more storms coming and more water. I had 4 to 5 feet of water in my home. And today Mr. Sullivan was out and taking pictures, and there's a power pole that's already leaning over on my property. Is somebody from APS here? Is somebody going to be going? Anybody concerned about that? I mean, it's just, are we going to address that when these waters come through again?
So we're truly sorry for the devastation you and your family experienced. We do have APS here, so I'm sure he and his crews can definitely take a look at that. Thank you for letting us know. It's a huge help. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Alex Rivera, and I'm part of the team Rubicon. I'm part of the Red Cross team, disaster team. Former FEMA disaster assessment in Puerto Rico for 7 years. And I want to ask you if you guys use disasterassistance.gov in this situation.
So thank you. So the question is, do we use disasterassistance.gov?
So we've actually been in direct contact with FEMA and DEMA for all of the resources that they have to offer. We don't use the traditional just public website. We actually have direct contacts with FEMA Region 9 for assistance with anything that they can provide, which unfortunately in this case isn't incredibly much from an emergency management perspective.
Okay, disaster.gov is outside of FEMA. They take all the federal assistance, Social Security, housing. They provide those services in emergency. I can bring those contact person here that they can help at least on the Social Security, housing, and food stamp. At least those 3, disaster.gov can help you. We can create a location to bring those people, take the assessment right now. Because remember, we have all of these people. They don't have communication, they don't have vehicle. Either we can talk to San Carlos, I work for them, TANF, to see if we can use the system, the bus system from them, in order to go to those remote areas and bring the people and take the assessment. Another option that we can do, and I want to clarify for some people, what happened with FEMA is if we don't make the threshold, they say $10 million in damages, they're not coming here. And that's what we need to try to have more connection with the individuals that lost everything. Business, SBAs, SBA can help in those areas. They have some grants, they have some loans at the minimum, but we need to use disaster.gov in order to provide that service as soon as we can. And I want to give you my phone numbers in order to help you, to help the community in this disaster. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any other questions?
Not a question. My name is Eliana Waters. I'm here with Congressman Tom O'Halloran's office. So I wanted to thank the community for hosting this, and just great to hear about, just the joint that we see here. If you guys want my contact information, I'll be in the back. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. Any other questions at all?
I don't have a question, I just want to ask that all of this, the Team Rubicon, the Red Cross, Salvation Army, all of us look to them for help, and they've been a great help to us. So if there's anyone in the community that wants to volunteer, I'm sure these services would be glad to have you sign up to volunteer with their services. And so if you know someone that has some extra time on their hands, if you know someone that likes to volunteer, the Red Cross, Salvation Army, Team Rubicon would sure like to hear from you, because we have more people that need help than we have volunteers to help them. And the neat thing of it is, with these people, once you go through their training program and stuff, then you're actually a great volunteer and able to help the community. So I just wanted to put in 2 cents for them, to thank them very much for what they do. And if anyone knows anybody that would care to volunteer with any of these organizations, they would love to have you, because we need more volunteers for the future that we're looking at. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor. If there's not any other questions right now, we'll leave that as our call to action. Please volunteer. Please use the resources provided by Globe Miami United Fund and the Salvation Army, Gila County. And again, thank you for your resiliency. We'll get through this together. We will. I know it's a long road ahead of us, but we will get through this. We're a strong community when we band together, as we've done, and we'll continue doing that for the next 5 years. Thank you all.